Good morning, fellow Toastmasters. It's 7 a.m. and time to start our meeting, AM Lockport Toastmasters. Good morning, everyone. Looks like on Zoom this morning we have Eric, Mark Campos, David Jones, Phil Russell, Margot. Those are the only people I see at the moment.
And in the room, please.
At this point in time, I would like to introduce the Toastmaster of the day, Margot Bittner. Welcome, Margot.
Good morning, Marty. Before you leave the lectern, please tell me who's in the room. Thank you, Kate.
Be happy to. Can we get the music off? Perfect. In the room, we have David Channon, Sylvia Baptiste, Len Thornton, Zach Brado, Steve Smith, Jill Roaring, Nancy Ferry, Carol Helsted, Mary Cavanero, Kate Orr, Marty Johnston, Mike Florio. Have I missed anyone in the room? I think that's everyone. And did everyone hear who's on Zoom? Marty said that, so we're good to roll. I don't know. I don't see any guests today. Are you up and ready for the inspiration? Awesome. Margot, would you like to take the floor? And Carol is on.
Sure. I do hope before we start that the Licata's arrived. Number one, Dave Licata is speaking. And number two, he has a lovely program that I printed out in color for everybody. So hopefully one of them will be there and hand everybody a program. And when you see it, I do apologize for leaving the table topics master off. In any case, our inspiration this morning is Carol Ann Halstead. Carol Ann?
Good morning, Madam Toastmaster and fellow Toastmasters. I'm sure we'll all come up with a variety of our favorite beverage today. However, the most important beverage is water. And we are blessed with having enough water at the present right where we are. However, when you see relief going to areas that have had disasters, what's the first thing? Tons of bottled water for them. And there's places in the world that people don't survive because they don't have access to clean water. So this morning, here's to water. Thank you.
Thank you. Carol, while you're there, could you lead the pledge for me as well?
Oh, yes.
Thank you.
I pledge allegiance
Is
to the
to the
flag
flag
of the
of the
United
United
States
States of America,
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much.
We do have programs in the house, and welcome back, Maggie, our guest online. Thank you. Back to you, Margot.
Thank you very much for telling me that. I appreciate it. So I would like to start with a toast this morning to those beverages that enhance our life, whether it's that cup of coffee with its warm aroma, tea when you're not feeling well, or of course, the other drinks that we love to imbibe with. So I chose your favorite beverage because I have one employee who shall remain nameless who likes to say beverages are his life. And every time he talks about beverages, we talk about them in a different way. So to a second toast, there's many a toast I'd like to say, if only I could think it. So fill your glass with anything, and then, of course, I'll drink it. In any case, I'd like to go through all of the jobs for this morning. And Sylvia Baptiste is our WAG master for this morning. And Sylvia, I will leave it to you if you would like to ask someone to take on the master or one of the other jobs so we can start spreading the wealth a little bit. So ladies and gentlemen, Sylvia Baptiste.
Good morning. Morning. The word of the day, refreshing. Which is hydration, revitalization, energy, and also could, there's my
also could refer to experiences or moments that bring a sense of renewal or clarity. For example, it is a refreshing change to see or hear some good news that someone done a good deed today. Or lemonade is refreshing during the hot summer days. The other part of my job is listening for ums, ahs, so's, and the connectors. And the grammarian part, which is now I'm calling the kettle black because I am very bad at this, is report on exceptional use or poor use of grammar. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sylvia. And I encourage everyone to use refreshing, refreshment, refresh, any form of the word, and hopefully Sylvia will count them all. Our quote master this morning is Mary Cavanero. Mary, do you have a quote for us?
I do have a quote, Margot.
Thank you.
The only way to keep health is eat what you don't want, drink to what you don't like, and to what you rather not. That's Mark Twain.
Thank you very much, Mary. We do have a jester in the house. Len Thornton is there this morning. Len.
Morning, Toastmasters. Good morning, Margot. I can get my phone to wake up here. I think it didn't have its coffee this morning. So what's the opposite of coffee? Sneezy. That's good. What's coffee's favorite spell? Espresso Petronium. What's a barista's favorite exercise at the gym? The French press. And one last one here. I'm focusing on coffee because that's the most refreshing beverage in my book. How is divorce like an espresso? It's expensive and bitter. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. And our timer, surprise, surprise to him, was Dave Channon. I did send out 3 emails. I'm gathering that a few people did not receive them. But Dave, thank you for stepping up as the schedule says.
This is a sign for sorry that I missed the email.
That's okay.
Never, ever let go by a time for teaching. I am the timer this morning. Now I will give you the sign language for timer. First, I'm the teacher. So this is a sign for teach, and this is a sign makes it into a person. So if I'm the timer, it's I'm the timer. I am the timer this morning. Good morning to everyone. Okay, table topics. It's the green light. It starts at 1:30. The green color comes on at 1:45. The yellow, and 2 minutes is the red. Speakers are 5 to 7 minutes. The green is at 5. The yellow is at 6, where you run through the light. And 7 is the red. And evaluations are 2 minutes, 2:30, and 3 minutes. Everybody understand? Great. Okay, thank you very much, Mrs. Toastmaster.
Thank you very much. And I will call on you at the appropriate time. We do have a quiz master there, I believe. Thank you, Nancy.
And here I am. The quiz for the day is, what word did David just use in sign language he probably shouldn't use when he goes into the emergency room? I think they just might hook you up really quickly and not even ask what's going on. This morning, I am your quiz master, and I will be testing your listening skills. All of us hear things. We hear barbells falling on the floor upstairs. We hear different noises around, but how well are we listening? We'll find out at the end when I give you a quiz. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
And of course, we have a general evaluator because everything in Toastmasters is evaluated. I did see Eric Schneider online. Good morning, Eric.
Good morning, Margot. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters, and Maggie. Good morning. Welcome back. As your general evaluator this morning, and just for the record, I have the car in park, so we're good to go. My job is to evaluate Margot, our Toastmaster of the day, our evaluators, and the general tenor of the meeting. I will report when called upon. Thank you, Margot.
Thank you very much. So as you all know, I deal with beverages all day long. And I did bring out a gift wine glass. It actually has my name on it. I'm going to leave it to all of you to guess what I have in it this morning. Do remember mimosas are a morning drink. However, I will leave it to you to figure that out. But to move this meeting along, I would like to up one detail I want to go over. There are only 2 speakers this morning. Zach's speech is a longer speech. And so I wanted to give him the opportunity to do what he needed to do. So our table topics master this morning online is David Jones. So David, I will hand the meeting over to you.
Thank you, Margot, and good morning, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Table topics at AM Lockport is 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes, and try to use the word of the day, which is refreshing or refresh in your speech. It's a requirement in order to qualify as a table topics master. And I would like to call on Jackie Kenny, if she's available. I don't think she has a role. I still have PST from calling her Kennedy a long time ago and was abruptly corrected. So Jackie Kenny.
Good morning, David.
Good morning. What is your go-to drink other than water? Is it store-bought or something that you squeeze, brew, or mix? And if you could expand upon that favorite drink.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to talk about tea, which has been my favorite beverage as long as I can remember. I remember having tea parties with my mother as a little girl. She was a coffee drinker, but I guess she thought that wasn't appropriate for a small child. So she would set up tea and put lots of milk and sugar in it, and I would enjoy that and kept up with it my whole life. Some places are more enjoyable than others for tea drinkers. When you're in Ireland, the barman at any pub is prepared to do a proper tea for you with a tray and a teapot and all the accoutrement that you need to have a decent cup of tea. When you're in Italy, you don't do so well. They're not really interested in tea, so you have to adapt. Hot chocolate is acceptable, but not the beverage of choice. I don't like coffee. Sometimes I like the smell of it, but I have never had a whole cup of coffee. I had a sip of it once, and that was the end of it for me. So it's the most refreshing thing and relaxing to sit down with a cup of tea and a good book and enjoy a little bit of time to relax. So here's to tea, everybody. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jackie. Well, what is not refreshing is the first time we taste an adult beverage, whether it's beer or alcohol, but we make ourselves drink it because we know we have to be cool, we have to enjoy it. So Mark Campos, what was the first time you got drunk as a skunk? Can you remember back that far and kind of expand upon that experience?
Thank you, Mr. Table Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters, and our guest, Maggie. I don't know if I can recall. I was drunk at the time. I do believe that the first time that I ever got drunk, this goes back to high school, like most of us. It would not be good if it was prior to high school, because high school students are known to do these sorts of things. But some friends of mine that I used to work with, we went and had a party, and I just decided to drink rum and Coke. And the thought of rum and Coke right now sort of repulses me. Yeah, at the time, I thought it was refreshing because I drank more Coke and pop or soda, whatever you want to call it. But I got away with it that night. I felt pretty good, and I didn't get sick, and I didn't get hungover. But over time, I sort of evolved to beer as the go-to. Imagine that. There are certain drinks that certain types of beer I didn't always like. I wasn't always an IPA fan, but now I am. I've grown to, my tastes have evolved where I enjoy a beer that has a little bit of a hoppy bite to it. To Jackie's points, at one point I didn't like coffee, but now it is part of the daily routine. I couldn't imagine not having a cup of coffee in the morning. And most recently, I've started to embrace sipping on a good bourbon, especially later on after a few beers, less filling. That too is an acquired taste. Initially, you don't really care for it, but over time you start to enjoy it and appreciate the nuances and all the flavor notes that are in a good glass of bourbon. So there is your answer, Mr. Table Topics Master. Back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mark. And in case Maggie doesn't know, I want to move on to the cultural education of the day. And Maggie, Marshall is from China. He's coming to us live from China. And Marshall, I wanted to find out, because I don't know, it's just, I want to learn from you. Do you have adult beverages in China? Do you have bars? What is the cultural view of drinking alcohol and such in China? If you could share with us that experience over there.
Yeah. I'm from Shandong province of China. Our province people is most good at drinking in China. And every time if you see I'm from Shandong province, everybody will see, oh, you are good at drinking. It's like Chinese Russia. So the average drinking volume in my province is everybody one box of beer, 12 bottles. So everybody can get one box. You put your foot on there, and you don't need to ask others. Everybody drink their own 12 bottles. And like vodka, everybody can drink one bottle. And for our alcohol table culture, because my hometown is Confucius hometown, so we are really good at to let others drinking. So if you come to our home or anywhere, you drink with us, everybody must drink and to the underneath of the bottle. We think, we are so friendly. So we have a test to eat peanut, to use chopsticks, eat peanut. So in Shandong province, all the table have peanut. We will use that text you. If you can use your chopstick, get peanut, you didn't drink enough. Yeah. So we will text you. If we don't drink you to under the table, it's very rude, very unfriendly. Before every meal, yeah, we have a lot of ways to let you drink. You can't refuse. Thank you. Go back to Mr. Table Topic Master.
Marshall, is drinking refreshing or is it sour to you?
Oh, refreshing, sour.
Refreshing. That's the word of the day. Refreshing or sour?
Oh, refreshing.
All right.
Sour.
I was looking for. Thank you. Perfect. Yeah. Dave, can we get a timers report from you, please? If you could do the numbers in sign language too, because I'm trying to learn.
Okay, I can do that.
I know 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, but
Yeah, and that's
as far
it.
as I go.
And he's been in my class too. All right, so Jackie Kennedy was first, and she made the time at 1:41. And Mark Campos was good at 1:50. And Marshall was good at 2:16. They all came in the right time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Timer. And can we get a word master report on our speaker? She's there.
Yes, I'm here. So the 3 contestants, we're going to even count Marshall in there, is they all said it once. David Jones a couple times, 3 times actually, because you coaxed Marshall. Len once, Margot once. Keep using the word, please. Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll have the poll up in a moment, and I'll turn it back to our Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, Mr. Table Topics Master. So Jackie, you haven't finished a cup of coffee. I have never finished an entire beer, which is one of the reasons that I appreciate having Mike around, because he likes beer and he can help my customers with that. I have always loved coffee. I was probably in 6th or 7th grade when I started begging my mother for coffee. And she made me wait until high school and didn't think I'd really follow through. But in 9th grade, the first thing I did was get up and make myself a cup of coffee. Back then it was instant coffee, and I have since learned how to make real coffee. In any case, I can't tell from looking around the room if somebody is collecting the ballots and is finished. Oh, they're still collecting the ballots. So I'm going to let everybody try to figure out what I do have in my glass this morning. And if you, when you come up to speak, if you'd like to guess, I will tell you whoever is correct. As I said, remember it's mimosas. And I wonder how many people in the room remember my Margarita Monday story. A few might remember from that cruise when I had, yeah, Kate's smiling. I can see that smile. We just discovered on our next cruise that that same excursion is available. And my husband thinks he wants to take it again. So I may have another Margarita Monday story. With that, I would like to move into the speaking portion of our morning. Our first speaker this morning is going to be Dave Licata. Dave will be evaluated by Steve Smith, whom I persuaded during our murder mystery this past weekend. So Steve, I would like to invite you up to tell us, number 1, what Dave is doing, and number 2, please introduce the speaker. Steve Smith.
Thank you. Yes, I'll be evaluating Dave Licata. Tall order. I don't know a lot about this, but I'll tell you what I do know. His pathway is dynamic leadership. It's an L3 elective, deliver social speeches. His time, Mr. Timer, is 3 to 4 minutes. I do not have the title. It wasn't on the website. So you can introduce, I have no idea, so you can introduce yourself, I guess.
Theater of the Mind.
Theater of the Mind, Dave Licata.
Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and guests, and I don't see any guests. Maggie says she's going to join up, so hear it for Maggie. All right. About 1913, Paul Fonzi came from Abruzzi, Italy, settled in Buffalo, and then moved to Lockport, New York. He waited patiently 5 years and then sent for his wife, Maria Josefina. And they settled at 255 South Niagara Street in Lockport. And incredibly, this man had property and a barn and a shed, even a horse. And much to his delight, I'm sure, he had a vineyard. Now, it's October. It's a beautiful, beautiful day in October, and it's a Sunday. So you can smell the sauce. laughing out of the kitchen. That is true of every Sunday. But this Sunday is extra special because we're going to pick the grapes today. My cousin Ann and I, we were good for about a bushel, the two of us. We'd pick a bushel and say, that's enough. We go in the house and color, play with our toys. But the squad would show up from Buffalo. And they were people I only see once a year. So I want you to imagine all the beautiful Italian language bouncing around that vineyard. And these people are amazing because they were all off the boat. They were all immigrants. And they cut grapes off the vines faster than you can imagine. The crew were people, they were colorful. As I mentioned, their language was colorful. And this Sunday was always refreshing because it had a lot of the same elements, but the different elements of the crew. And we used to eat in shifts. It wasn't, we'd have Sunday dinner, but it was in shifts, there were so many of us. I'm sad because I don't have anybody to ask anymore. Well, who was that gentleman? Who was that lady? How were they connected? Because with the passage of time, you suffer that loss. You will sit down to a huge dinner of Sunday sauce and rigatoni, but the payoff was Grandpa Fonzie grew Concords and he grew Niagara grapes. He saved the Concords so he could make his own wine. And at that moment, he was indeed the Lord of the Manor. He would take the Niagara grapes and sell them to the cold storage in Lockport. And they would sit on a skid at the edge of the driveway, waiting for the gentleman from the cold storage to pick them up. And the air was perfumed with Niagara grapes. And I didn't smell it for ages. It was a faint memory. Then one day I got a part-time job at the Winery at Margin Manor, and I popped that bottle, pulled the cork on my first bottle of 100 Windows, and I was back in that driveway. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Dave. I thought you were going to say you popped the cork on the Lord of the Manor, which is the Concord wine. But who knows which one you enjoyed more. In any case, our second speaker this morning is Zach Brado. He will be evaluated by Mike Florio. It is an 8 to 10 minute speech. And Mike, I invite you to step up, introduce Zach, and what he'll be doing this morning.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and our guest, or our new member. Toastmasters allows you, I guess, to try different things. And when you come to Toastmasters, you kind of have the opportunity to test yourself, right? And to practice. And this morning, Zach gets that opportunity. He comes to Toastmasters as a new Toastmaster, but he gets the chance to work on a project that he has for outside of Toastmasters. And we always welcome that here. It gives you a chance to test it out in an atmosphere where everyone is looking to help you. So this morning, Zach is going to present us with a work, what would you call it? A works presentation that he might have, and then we'll help him out as Toastmasters this morning. So this morning, Zach Brado. Yep.
Yeah, so this is the presentation that I was practicing 2 weeks ago, and I'll be leaving tomorrow to San Antonio. The presentation is on Monday. So I do have them, the slides prepared, and I do want to let you know I'm going to have flashcards So be easy on me. I'm going to convert these to flashcards, and I'm going to have a lavalier mic as well, so I'll be able to move a little bit more. Let me know when they're. There we go. There we go. Welcome to the 11th Net Plus Alliance annual meeting at the JW Marriott in San Antonio, Texas. We are so excited and grateful for you to be here with us this week. This is your opportunity to use the momentum of this group and this show as your catalyst for growth in 2025. Thank you to our event sponsor, Bosch Power Tools. Bosch, a supplier partner since 2012, offers high-quality power tools, measuring tools, accessories, and much, much more. And thank you to all suppliers in attendance, event sponsors, and our marketing partners for being here. We couldn't have the show without you. We have put on a fantastic event for you, and we are so appreciative for you to be here. So now let's give a round of applause to all of our partners for being here to work on our businesses together. My name is Zach Brado, Vice President of Development and Marketing at Net Plus Alliance. I started as a marketing intern 12 years ago, and I have the great privilege of working alongside our preferred supplier partners to help them grow. The favorite part of my job is when I receive a phone call or an email from a partner talking about an opportunity that they're working on with a supplier and a distributor in our network. I love getting those text messages, hey, I'm looking for this product. Can you look for this brand for me? I love making connections, and that's what we do at Net Plus Alliance. In 2021, we embarked on a project that we called the Change Imperative. We knew that we needed to grow right alongside our distributor members, making sure our diverse distributors have the best brands, programs, and product categories in the industry. Since then, we have added 60 new suppliers, 33 which we have brought on year to date. And over the last 3 years, Net Plus Alliance is experiencing a compound annual growth rate of 24%, with our average sales per supplier up 39% over that same period. Today, Net Plus Alliance represents 230 suppliers across 38 top-level product categories. Our top 4 categories are construction supplies, industrial MRO, fasteners, and safety. We manage our categories to ensure that we have the right partners and the best options to support our customers as well as their customers. And our goal for category management is to do the right things for the right reasons. We have to make sure that our distributors have the choices to fit the verticals they serve, and they need to have options to expand their business offerings. Category expansion provides opportunities for both suppliers and distributors to gain market share. Thank you to the 160 distributors that participated in the supplier spend survey this year. We've been at it for 3 years, and this project continues to grow. We collect outside spend data from our distributors for 3 things, and this is what I love because it helps us help you. We collect that data to enhance product categories, promote conversions and consolidation, and propose new opportunities when it could be a fit. When it comes to category review and expansion, I have to give a shout out to the Advisory Council and the Category Expansion Committee for always providing me with transparent feedback to make sure that we have the best partners in the industry. So here's a few things that we look at when we're evaluating a new supplier: brand presence in a specific vertical, availability to Net Plus members, inside and outside sales support, as well as customer service support, conversion and consolidation potential, being easy to do business with, price and quality. I know a few people always like that best price out there, as well as, and of course, Net Plus member feedback. I have to tell you, it's been a lot of fun working alongside our distributors, entering new markets, meeting new people, adding suppliers, upgrading programs, and expanding our safety, fastener, and construction categories. Alongside those top categories, we've added suppliers this year in welding, Jansan, freight, industrial MRO, and concrete. We'll continue at that, and we'll be looking into electrical opportunities into 2025. We touched on the right suppliers in the right categories. Now we have to look at what a best-in-class Net Plus supplier program looks like. Here are a few elements: a competitive base loyalty rebate, group growth incentives, as well as individual growth incentives, growth plus and conversion support, training opportunities, and Net Plus advantages. A Net Plus advantage is something that our suppliers would offer our members that is better than their standard offering. So please consider offering a lower freight prepaid or extended pay terms for our members. As I mentioned earlier, we are on a path to improve our supplier programs. We knew that they needed to be better. And since 2021, we have renegotiated 60 supplier programs that has resulted in $2 million in additional rebates for our distributor members. The Net Plus team engages with our members and highlights the suppliers that offer the best programs and are willing to work with our members to help them grow. With growth being at the forefront of all that we do, we are extremely excited to launch our Sales Accelerator Incentive for Growth program. Today, we have 145 suppliers that offer a group or individual rebate incentive as part of their program. New for 2025, suppliers that offer both a group growth and individual growth rebate will be entered into the Sales Accelerator program, and you'll earn this badge of recognition, and it'll be highlighted at the annual meeting throughout the year, as well as in featured communications. Here's a look at all the partners that are currently in this program today. We have 43, and we're in conversations to double that by the end of the year. I have to give a major shout out to some key partners that stepped right up: PIP, Alpha Tools, Radian, CH Hansen, to name a few. It is great to work with some partners that are willing to come to the table and work with our distributors to help them grow. So during our time here, let's maximize our relationships. I've talked about supporting our members and upgrading their programs. Now, distributors, identify non-Net Plus spend within your organization and use your open time slots to see prospect suppliers. Consolidate your non-Net Plus spend and consider offering your teammates incentives for selling Net Plus brands. Now, suppliers, take pride in being easy to do business with. If you want conversions, provide rewards and support for our members. And lastly, let's create deeper relationships when we're here in San Antonio. Make sure you're having some fun. Grab a drink, sit down, solve a problem, and collaborate. It drives mutual growth. Now, I have the great pleasure to hand the mic over to the 2023 Women of Influence Award winner in the Industrial Supply Association, industry trailblazer, rockstar leader, Net Plus Alliance President and CEO, Jennifer Murphy.
Thank you very much.
Still a bit fast, but we'll get there.
Thank you, Zach. As you self-evaluate, I would like to encourage every member in the room to pick up that ballot on the top where it has the speaker section, and to write a love note to Zach, to tell him what you liked, to tell him how he can improve. And then when our Sergeant of Arms of the day is collecting the ballots, they can collect those and pass them along to that. That being said, we do need a timers report. So, Mr. Channon, whenever you're ready, how did our speakers do this morning?
Thank you. Our speakers did very well. Dave Licata came in at 4 minutes and 13. And Zach came in at 7:45. They both met the requirements. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So while you are casting your ballot, I guess that means I get to fill in some airspace for a little bit. As many know, I have these small family reunions every summer, usually the morning after a murder mystery. A small family reunion for the Bittner Jasinski clan is about 125, 130, 140 people. It's a lot of beverages to provide. So we changed the rules to not only a dish to pass, but please bring a beverage. And I have discovered I have a brother-in-law now who makes his own beer. I have relatives who insist on making fresh lemonade, absolutely wonderful. But we ended up with this pile of water bottles, pop bottles, and everything else at the end. And I think it took us probably 6 or 8 weeks afterwards because nobody would take anything home. So those are some of the beverages that we have enjoyed as a family. One of the other things we do here is wine slushies, as many of you know, and we're now getting into mulled wine as the winter progresses. So I can see the ballots are being collected. We do have 2 evaluators. They are both in the room. So I would like to first invite Steve Smith, who looks very thoughtful at the back of the room, to evaluate Dave Licata.
Thank you. I have the daunting task today to evaluate Dave Licata, an accomplished speaker, but I'm going to do it. You called the speech Theater of the Mind. Very appropriate. You painted a beautiful picture of times gone by. You took us back to 1913, reliving the times you remember and talking about picking grapes. That was the heart of the story, the whole experience of the grape harvest. And you did paint a very vivid picture. We could see you out there say, oh, that's enough of this. They're going in the house, and everybody else and how hard they worked. Now, your vocal variety is flawless. Of course, we all know Dave never met an audience he didn't like. But so he was perfectly at home up here and doing a wonderful job bringing us all in, getting us involved in the story, making us want to hear more of it. I was surprised, and this is my comments for improvement, you had very little gestures. You, of all people, should know how to be theatrical. Be more theatrical with the speak. Talk about the grapes and talk about, oh, look at these heavy baskets, talking about, oh, it's enough of this. Get more physical, more theatrical. Vocal variety was spot on, but I think a little theatricality would have been nice. Also, if maybe if you had some pictures of some of these old relatives, would have been a nice touch for props. But other than that, the speech was well delivered by a man who we know is an expert at doing this. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. I hope everybody else did too. Madam Toastmaster.
Oops, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Our second evaluator this morning, who has given speeches similar to this one, is Mike Florio. So Mike, could you please help Zach improve his speaking?
Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and Zach, wonderful job this morning. Really, it's refreshing to see someone come in brand new and test out what they could possibly do somewhere else, hopefully in San Antonio. Now, if you need someone to go there with you and hang out in San Antonio, I gladly oblige. Oh, nice. There you go. Anyway, I digress. You have a lot of good tools already. You're very comfortable up here. I can see that when you come up, and your hand gestures are very natural. So when you come up on stage, I can tell that you draw people in, and your vocal variety is very smooth, very, calming and welcoming to people. Now, I guess where you could possibly improve is the speed, right? And then I noticed that you were trying to get through the material as quickly as you can because you had a lot of it. Now, when you get to San Antonio, you probably have much more time than what we're allowing you so that you can delve into it a little bit deeper. Because although some of the slides were great, they were all great, really. You skated over a lot of the material where you could have maybe dug into a few. And I noticed myself even, the trouble with slides, I think, is that when when you're in the audience, you're going, okay, what do I concentrate on? Do I concentrate on the slide? Do I concentrate on the speaker? Hopefully you'll have these slides behind you. Yeah, that's good. That's good. And then, you know, I say less is more with slides, right? If there's anywhere beyond, say, 4 or 5 on there, the person's going to start reading it, and then they're not focusing on you, and they should be focusing on you because you can add so much more. Like I said, the vocal variety, the fact that you're thanking people, you're there for a reason because you're trying to draw people in. And I like that you start with thank everybody in the room, right? I mean, thank everybody in the room that you're there, that the coffee's hot, that, you know, whatever, the food is great. And that's what you want at those events. And the fact that you have the opportunity to unveil the CEO or the president of, I can't remember if it was this president, but anyway, that's a great way to end your speech. So congratulations and keep practicing. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much. So I would like to invite Dave Channon up to do his final report. And Dave, while you're up there, you haven't shared with us what your favorite beverage is.
Oh, okay.
Both evaluators met the requirements. Steve Smith was at 143 and Mike Florio was at 251. My favorite beverage depends on the year. When I was in college in 1971 to 75, it was beer. Lots and lots of beer. A town of 20,000 had 126 bars. Now, my favorite, yeah. And a pitcher of beer was like cheap. Now my favorite beverage is coffee. And I really enjoy my morning coffee. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you. So I will ask whoever is Sergeant at Arms today to collect ballots one more time for us. I would appreciate that. And since I am not in the room, is there anyone else who would like to share their favorite beverage this morning? Wave at me, stand up, move. Yes, no? Nobody wants to move. Oh, Mike's gonna get up. Thank you, Mike. And Kate.
All right. Normally it's pretty boring what I like to drink. It's coffee, black, and water. But then I also, I like sweet. So I have to quell that, right? So what I designed was the Florio drink I call. So I tell my kids, go make me a Florio. And that becomes the drink. And all it is really is about 2/3 water, 1/3 lemonade, and a little shot of cranberry for that bitter. And it's really awesome. It's really great with ice in the summer. And then maybe you could sneak, you know, a little bit of vodka in there, and that kind of helps it out too. So anyway, that's my drink, the Florio.
Well, Mike, maybe I'll try that with some cranberry wine.
There you go. There you go. Thanks.
All right. Anyone else? See up. Thank you, Carol Ann.
I like to start the morning usually with tea rather than coffee. However, when I go out to breakfast, a lot of the times I will have coffee. My mother could not start the day without coffee, and she made it in the old percolators, and it was very strong. But that was what she liked. I personally enjoy drinking Pepsi, and I've had to cut back. I am a diabetic, so I save it for, we usually get pizza about once a week, and I save the Pepsi for pizza. Now, I hate to mention this to you, but I'm not a real fan of wine. I do like a sweet, fruity wine, but I'm sure sometime I will have to visit your winery and try out a few. But I do like the wine that I do like is sweet and fruity. Thank you.
Sort of like the owner of the winery, a little fruity here. Good morning, Kate.
Good morning again, everybody, especially Margot. Since we have some time, I thought I'd step up and share beverages. Beverages aren't my life, like the gentleman behind me who's queued up and ready to go. Heads up, Margot. I brought a couple of beverages that I always carry around, like Mike just mentioned, water and coffee, constant water and coffee. Double fisting in a whole different way. Marshall, double fisting means 2 alcoholic beverages usually. However, these are not alcoholic. I am proud to say that I haven't been drinking alcohol since I had been sick last May. That's a big freaking deal for me, gotta say, 18 months going on, because I wasn't a drinker as a kid, like Mark referenced high school drinking. I did not do that. My parents bought a keg for my graduation party, mostly for the family. I didn't touch the keg of beer that was part of my graduation party. It's not my thing. But then at 19, I became a bartender at a local golf course. And the rest is history or something like that. I'm not sure. That was at Willowbrook. I've worked at Margot's and about 10 other places as a bartender. I think Willowbrook was a great start because we made Manhattans and martinis, and I had never drank those before, but that was interesting. I really enjoy coffee, and Dave's speech with the Italian aromas of sauce and grapes and wafting from the vines made me remember something. If you did not know, you know, our 5 senses, taste and sight and sound and feel, smell is the strongest connected to our memories, right? And that makes sense when you think of Nana's kitchen or some perfumes or cologne that someone you know used to wear, maybe candles somewhere, the cigar, something you don't like. Remember how that beer smelled at that bar you went to in college and oof, or that rum and coke after too many and so on. So I thought that was something really interesting. I prefer the aromas of coffee and tea and hot cider, hot cocoa, and I'm going to have to try the Florio. I mean, I've had the Florio, I've made that, but how refreshing is that? Water, lemonade, some cranberry juice. I would throw some limes in there because I'm not a sweet person. I'm not a sweet person. I'm not a sweet tasting interested person. I like sour and bitter, like my coffee, black, maybe some cream and tea, real sour margaritas when I was drinking alcohol. And you can make them NA. Anyway, Dave is in line waiting, so don't talk longer than me, Dave. That's your challenge. Dave's timing us. Back to you, Margot.
Table topics number 2.
We never apologize, so I won't say that I apologize for being up here twice. It's your fault because somebody mentioned percolator and I was triggered. Number one, every now and then somebody goes on Facebook with a picture of an ancient percolator and I just cringe. Number one, for a percolator to perk, it has to boil. The water has to boil to make that perk. Boiling water is too hot for coffee and over extracts the grounds. That's why we have people in the room say, oh my God, I went to my grandmother's house when I was 5. She made me taste the percolated Maxwell House, which is all not Arab beans, it's the other bean. You can't even make a drink out of the other bean. And the name escapes me right now, but it'll come to me. So if there are people out there that have any doubts, any fears, come over to my house some Saturday morning. I'll make you a coffee you'll never forget that has more in common with hot chocolate than it has with your grandma's burnt Maxwell House out of the percolator. This was a battle my whole life when I wholesaled coffee. and black, please, because all you're gonna get out of cream and sugar is an aftertaste. Let's see, what else can I crab about? Okay, I got a wonderful tip. I played golf with a gentleman that used to, he called on liquor stores and he called on bars and he sold spirits. So I got a shot of bourbon, no ice. I found out this is the way to go. Neat. But then he told me that if I had the tiniest, now I'm doing gestures. If you had the tiniest drop of water, it opens up the flavor of that bourbon and makes it, it really works. It's crazy. It makes it a little bit better. Thank you for indulging me, but I, like I said, I was triggered.
Thank you very much, Dave. Anyone else? Up?
Well, you're gonna get a double dose of Dave this morning. If he
Okay.
can go twice,
Quadruple
I
dose.
want to go twice. Now, this is a very unique beverage story, very refreshing. Back in those days when I was in Oswego, I had a friend, Lyle Merrick, and I'm terrible at names, but I'll never forget him. He was coming from a family of dairy farmers in Boonville, New York. And he says, we're gonna go to my house for the snowmobile championships. They're in Boonville, New York. And I said, okay, as long as we're going, that's great, great. He's gonna have a great time. Now, my friends that went there were all from upstate New York and Western New York, and I'm from the city. So I didn't know what was coming. We got to Lyle Merrick's house and everything was beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Then he takes me to the barn. And we all go into the barn and I start seeing smirks on the other guys' faces. And I go, okay. And he takes out this glass, pretty tall glass, and he goes, blows out the cobwebs. And he says to me, you want to be in my house, you've got to do what we do. I said, okay, we're dairy farmers. You're going to taste the milk that we produce. I said, okay. He took the glass that he blew the cobwebs out of, and he went to a cow and squeezed out a glass of milk. And I said to him, wait a minute, that hasn't been pasteurized? That hasn't been homogenized? I'm supposed to drink that right out of the cow? And he says to me, calling my cows dirty. And I said, no, they're not dirty. He says, you drink that milk or you're walking back to Oswego. I said, you wouldn't leave me here. Yes, I would. So I took that cup and I said, I gotta do this. And I drank it and it was like warm, sweet milkshake. Because all the cream was in there and it was right out of the body temperature of the cow. It wasn't pasteurized, it wasn't homogenized. And I lived to see another day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dave. For those who don't know in the room, Jim and I spent 9 years dairy farming. And when I needed milk, that's how he brought it home. Good morning, Marty.
Good morning, Margot. I hear we have some awards to give out.
Well, actually, can I do reports first? Because
Yes,
it is
we
not
do
quite
reports.
8 o'clock.
Yes.
We have some time. So I would like to call for the reports first. And I would like to invite our quiz master, Nancy Ferry, up to give our quiz.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. How well were you listening today? In the inspiration, what was the most important beverage? No.
Water.
Yes, water, water, water. The word of the day, I didn't even hear it that much. And Mary's quote was from whom?
Mark Twain.
Jackie's go-to drink? Who else is a tea drinker? Who else is a tea drinker that fessed up
Jackie and
to it?
Carol.
Carol, right?
And Jackie.
Yep. Where in Europe can you buy a proper cup of tea? I mean, in Europe.
At a bar.
Wasn't it Ireland? Okay.
Ireland.
Bars.
Marshall, what was the test to drink to see if if you're drunk. Peanut with chopsticks. We'll have to remember that. How did Dave Licata's extended family accommodate everyone for a meal?
Eating in shifts.
Yes. And where is Zach presenting next week? San
Antonio.
Antonio. Well, I had a lot more, but that will do it for today.
Thank you very much, Nancy.
Good listening skills. Thank you.
Thank you. Before we move on to our WAG master, I do want to give our general evaluator one more chance to use the word refreshing. So Eric, any comments on our evaluators in the meeting this morning?
Yes, Margot, thank you very much. It is refreshing to hear, there, I got the word in. It's refreshing to give a general evaluator report. Margot, I love the theme. I have several favorite drinks, but I don't want to take up too much time, but there are some drinks that I like. I like sweet wine, dry wine. I hate it. No offense to the dry wine people in the room, but dry wine is not my favorite. Beer, not my favorite. If I see beer, I just push it to the side and let somebody else drink it. With that, Margot, wonderful theme today. I really did enjoy it. And you gave several toasts, which was really good. And you had, did we find out what was in Margot's cup? Did we take a guess on that yet? Or
nope, nobody said anything.
Nobody said anything? To me, it looked like apple cider.
You are
Like
correct, Eric.
Hey, all right. Well, did I win anything? No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, for our evaluator, Steve, I enjoyed your evaluation for Mr. Licata. And I will agree with you, Steve, that we will see more of Dave's gestures, because we know Dave, as an experienced speaker, to give so many beautiful gestures, and maybe Dave should be in a Broadway show because we see his immerse with his gestures. And also too, props, I agree that needs also a good touch as well. To Mr. Florio, Mike, I would like to try the Florio drink. Let me know when you are serving. I'll come by. You gave a good detailed evaluation with Zach's speech. I did Zach's evaluation a couple weeks ago, and it was better this time around. And you gave such really good insights, and also with evaluations, and also good tips for the slides. I agree with that. And that's basically about it. I'll turn things back over to Marco. And I do have some announcements at the end of the meeting, so if we have time. So I'll turn things back over to Margot. And Margot, you're on mute.
Hey, Margot.
Thank you.
I have one more thing, two more things. Sorry, not sorry.
That's okay.
Real quick, because Eric made me think of something, and then Marshall, if you're still on, Mike Florio and I were talking about Chinese businessmen and drinking. So if Marshall is on, I'll mention something else. I'll mention it anyway. But Eric's comment first made me remember when he said, I'm not a big fan of dry wines. For anybody who isn't yet a wine drinker, if you are a coffee or tea drinker, if you like your coffee or tea sweet, you'll like sweet wine. If you like coffee black, you would be more a fan of dry wine. Not always, but test yourself with cheeses and chocolates with that dry wine, and you'll notice a big difference. Or the pasta sauce that Dave was referencing, because that is stunning with sweet or dry wine. Any case, Marshall and Chinese drinking. I remember learning when we were exporting wine from this area to China, or trying to from New York, starting 2 years ago, because kampai is cheers, right? I don't have a glass in my hand, but kampai, everyone, kampai is our cheers, the translation, but the most direct translation that I learned was finish it. So when you are educating someone new who is more accustomed to drinking and finishing it, whether it's a whiskey, a rice wine, something that is meant to be a shot. It's very different when you say, come pie with a glass of wine. Bam. Well, taste it, smell it, the aromas. It's a whole different experience. So sometimes lost in translation literally is that. So we were chatting about that. Come pie. Careful what you're saying when you learn all those toasts. Back to you, Margot. I promise I'm done.
Yes, a good wine is one you like. Of course, in our case, if you like a certain fruit, like if you like cranberries, chances are we'll have a wine too that you would enjoy. In any case, I do need a Wagmaster report so that we can finally start wrapping things up. Thank you, Sylvia.
Hey, I am back. I would say my favorite beverage, it depends on the time of year. This time of year, I like cider, hot, cold, whatever, spiked, unspiked, prefer spiked. But I did have experience similar to Mark in high school, and my father kind of blew it. He said, I was expecting to come home drunk much earlier than your senior year. So it was screwdrivers, and to this day, I cannot drink orange juice. I could drink vodka. I can't drink orange juice. Orange juice, it just turns my stomach. But as a word master, refreshing, David used it in his speech. Kate used it, Margot used it again a few times, Eric used it twice, and of course the room used it during the Quizmaster report. So we had a few, 4, a couple ums, ands, ahs, not many, we're cut down a bit. And then I liked Mark's description, repulsing. David had a lot of good description words, colorful, land of the manor, spirits for whiskey, a couple start overs. And then Eric, you didn't really need to use really in your description. You just used to change that last sentence. I didn't write it down, but I didn't like really in there. Other than that, I am done.
Thank you. Boy, it sounds like it's getting to be true confession time here. For those who don't know, the Passover Seder includes 4 glasses of wine. And at 3 years old, I made sure every adult gave me a sip every round. So you can imagine at 3 years old what shape I was in. In any case, Marty, are you ready to hand out the awards for me?
Yes.
Thank you. And then don't forget the drawing.
Mike's bringing up the 50-50. Would you like to start with table topics? Best table topics is?
Jackie Kenny.
Thanks, Michael. Jackie's going to save some money for the club. We're going to use that another time. How refreshing. How refreshing. Our best evaluator this morning is?
Mike Florio.
Mike Florio. Congratulations, Mike. The Florio. The Florio. Thank you, Mike. And our best speaker?
Zach Brado.
There you go, Zach. Congratulations. Best of luck next week, Zach. Thank you. Best of luck to you. Congratulations. 50-50.
Seven, 1, 3.
Okay. All right,
Eric,
Marty.
Eric,
has some announcements.
I'm going to turn the controls back over to you, Eric, and then I have a couple brief announcements. And
Yes, Marty, thank you very much.
then turn it over to Jill, and then Jill turn it to me. Thank you, Eric.
Yep. All right, thank you, Marty. Couple things, this Sunday, if officers are available, we'll be meeting at Panera's for officer meeting. If you can't make it, that's all right. It's the only days I can do it with timing. But if anybody has any questions, please let me know. Also, I don't, we can do this next week. I'm do a vote, but December 26th is a Thursday. And we're thinking about not having a meeting the day after Christmas. So we'll can do a vote next week to see if anybody wants to do a meeting or not. But I think it would be a good idea to address it. And if anybody's have any questions, let me know. Also, next week, our Toastmaster is Jill. It's Halloween, and hopefully we have a Halloween theme, but Jill is our Toastmaster. Our speakers are Carol Ann, Jackie, Kenny, and Mary. Our alternate speaker is David Jones. Evaluators are Margot, Marshall, and Marty. And Mary will be opening and closing the meeting next week. So if anybody has anything else they want to address, please come on up. And I see Jill. Go ahead, Jill.
Yep. Well, yes, Halloween is next Thursday. Quiet in the back there? Yes. Quiet in the back. Yeah, well, yeah, it's okay. Oh, Dave has his arm up. Yes. Dave has to go to an estate sale tomorrow morning in Wilson, and I don't know where he's going, so of course he should go. Your wife wants you to go with her. Well, no. Yeah. Yep. Anyhow. Next week is October 31st, so of course my theme will be Easter. No, just joking there. How's our own house look? The house looks pretty good from the outside. We got a lot of work to do on the inside still. As we normally do, Saturday night is our annual party open house type of thing. So if you want to come down and see our extravaganza, you are more than welcome to. It'll also be open up Thursday night, of course, for Halloween. And we'll be doing trick or treating then too. And we might be opening up Tuesday night for people who can't make it either one of those nights. And Steve is giving me this look of, huh? Because he didn't know about that executive decision that I made. He's not going to be there Tuesday night? Oh, he's doing the paranormal thing. So maybe we'll do it Wednesday night? Beggars night, yes. Wednesday night, we will be open Wednesday night as well. So, okay. I'm glad I cleared that up. And obviously I will not be getting to sending out emails until after Saturday night because there's too much to do. So Marty has an announcement as well. Yes, the theme is Halloween.
Thank you, Joe. Just a quick announcement before we adjourn. Does anyone else have any other announcements before I? No? Okay. Quickly, for the month of October, I'm sure many of you realize that Base Camp, our Pathways online education program, has been under maintenance. So I request that anyone that has been working on any projects go back into the tutorials and make sure you complete your project so that not only you get credit for the level for completion, but the club gets credit for the Distinguished Club Program for you working on your individual projects. And I know some people have been giving projects that They may not have geared towards a specific level or a path, but make sure that you think about that over the next week or so, because those credits sometimes that we miss because of that might come back to haunt us, if you will. And not only that, it helps you in your own personal development and your own goals for pathways. And I wanted to ask Maggie, I don't know if Maggie is still with us. Oh, Matt, there's Maggie. Good morning, Maggie. Just so you know, when you received your member packet, thank you, Kate, so graciously and refreshingly gave you last week. If you have any questions about that application, please let us know. And then also know that I am willing to, and I'm sure other members are, thank you, have it right there. Excellent. Do you have any questions on that?
Well, when I was filling it out, I did, but I think I figured it out. Just that if you join in October or April, you pay 60, and if you join in November or May, you pay 50. That part took me a while. I thought you paid that much every month, like 60, 50, whatever, but I think I figured that out. The life, it says once in a lifetime, and then there's a dash through the $20 line, but you still have to pay that $20, yes?
Repeat the question.
And in this line, it says new member fee, $20. And then in the line item, somebody's scratched it out, but
Okay, Kate can address that. I think.
Okay.
Were
Anyway,
you a
I'm
member?
ready.
Were you a member before?
No,
So you're a brand new member. You're not being reinstated or
no,
Okay,
but I'm ready.
so disregard that.
Okay. Okay, disregard the dash. It's the
Okay.
whole amount. Okay, great. Thank you. I'm ready to go.
Excellent.
I'm sorry couldn't make it to bring it today. My granddaughter's sick and this is me putting on my coat. I'm waiting for my car to come back. My husband's done
All
something,
right.
but I'm off.
Excellent, excellent. And then just quickly, I just wanted to let you know, I'm willing to, and I'm sure other members are willing to get with you at the library if that's convenient with you, or you can do it on your own. There's a 15 or 20-minute assessment online for pathways, so you can select your path and we can get you rolling in the program. And I'm going to turn the control of the mic back over to Kate and can close the meeting.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Maggie. Hope your granddaughter feels better. Good luck with everything. We can be in touch anytime. No rush. I thought you were a Toastmaster before. Okay, Eric,
Kate?
did you want to close the meeting? Back
Oh,
to you.
sure. I forget one more thing. And Kate, thank you for saying on the email about the DECA for the mock trial. If
Not
anybody
mock
is
trial,
interested,
mock interviews.
mock
but
interviews.
close.
Yep. So do you remember the date, Kate? Because I don't have the email up on that.
I cannot go, so I don't recall, but check
Okay,
your
I
email
think
if
it's
you're
next
interested in
Wednesday.
helping with the role play mock interviews with the DECA and other Lockport high schoolers.
Yep, and that's my final announcement. Kate, if you want to adjourn the meeting, and we'll see everybody next week.